It's not one side's going to get more than another. It's the entire conference is going to have to learn how to work together. So it's better that we go through this process right now so we can achieve the things we want to achieve for the American public, what our commitment was. So if this takes a little longer and it doesn't meet your deadline, that's okay, because it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And if we finish well, we'll be very successful.
All right, so today we're entering day 4 in the vote for the GOP, likely Speaker of the House. And this is the longest that the vote has ever taken in 164 years. Representative Kevin McCarthy suffered a stinging 12th defeat earlier today. I think it looks like we're expected to go into 14 to 15 votes. McCarthy's continued to negotiate with a group of hardline Republicans who have derailed his bid. We spoke a little bit about this on the show yesterday, but here are the 20 who have been consistently voting against McCarthy. Here are their faces. Of those 20, 12 have denied the 2020 election results. Here are those 12. You can see Gates and Boebert, the most vocal of this faction. And as just a reminder, a nominee needs 218 votes to have a majority here of the 435 in Congress, unless some people withhold their votes. So the House can't do much until a speaker is chosen. Here's a list of the things that cannot get done because they're stalling and still voting. Craft and pass legislation, government and public oversight, receive classified briefings, basic management. So some are saying that this ongoing show is the downfall of the MAGA faction of the Republican Party. Look at this headline. The Speaker of the House debacle is the MAGA revolution eating its children. The extreme Republicans blocking McCarthy are refusing to accept a loss, the core of the Trumpist playbook. But it seems as though there are concessions that McCarthy is giving to this faction in order to gain some of their votes. So it might be worthwhile for them to have done this for the past few days. Although the main complaint is that it's been terribly embarrassing and has gotten in the way of other things getting done. And perhaps these conversations should have been had before McCarthy moved in. I think it's a lot of fun. I don't think it's embarrassing. I think it's turmoil that is not so different from the regular ongoings of a GOP-controlled Congress. Francesca?
I mean, exactly. It's pretty much emblematic of the GOP as it is in the year now 2023, 2 years after the violent insurrection. Of which many of the people who are currently holding out on this vote for speaker, as you mentioned, were part of, instigated, incited, helped, gave aid and comfort to. And so this is what they want. These Congress people have more in common with the QAnon shaman who stormed the Capitol that day and screamed about veganism or whatever he was doing than they do with Kevin McCarthy or any other Republicans, or honestly government, because these guys are the children of the Tea Party movement. These guys are the children of a far right fringe movement that says the best thing about government is no government at all. So to be honest with you, they just want to tear it all down. They don't want to do anything for their constituents. They don't want to do anything for their country. They don't want to serve their country, right? All of the things that they constantly harp on, right? We're the real patriots. We stand up for America. No, they just want to get theirs. They want to grift, they want money, and they can do that and still play these dumb games. It's no sweat off their back. They're not the ones who are going to be losing out. It's the American people who are going to be losing out. So again, yeah, this is perfect. This makes sense for them. This is on brand.
Yeah, the most ridiculous concession, I think, and the most telling one is to have less security, to have the metal detectors removed at the Capitol as of January 3rd, 3 days before the 2-year anniversary of January 6th. It's like the concessions are not, hey, maybe we could have, some committee that's going to investigate, I don't know, election fraud, something we made a very big deal out of. If we thought our democracy was crumbling and we didn't have integrity in our elections, maybe we'd want the speaker to devote some of our labor into looking into that and strengthening our elections. Instead, what we want to have happen is less security. It's exactly what you said, so that they can take over the government and have no order.
Yeah, and look, he's picking them off one by one. It seems like there was a 13th vote, and it did fail, but failed by less. So now there are 5 holdouts. Some of the people from the Freedom Caucus who came over to finally vote for McCarthy include Scott Perry of Pennsylvania. This is a guy who made Donald Trump and his DOJ investigate Itallygate, supposed Itallygate, where satellites in Italy were flipping votes for Biden, right? Like, this is a guy who then floated Jeffrey Clark, who was some random numbnuts in the DOJ, floated him to be installed as Attorney General on on the eve or a few weeks after the insurrection, or a few days after the insurrection. Like, these are nut jobs. And so yes, they're coming over. It's looking like Kevin McCarthy will be speaker. But man, that quote of "it's not how you start, it's how you finish." No, it's the whole thing. And in this, like, it is this process. The fact that you couldn't whip these votes immediately shows you do not have power. And the fact that you're giving out these concessions that ultimately mean nothing at the end of the day, although might get people killed if they're allowed to open carry in Congress. Like, it looks terrible on you as an entire party. So I know that the MAGA folks, the insurrectionists, they think they're doing a good thing. They think that this is strengthening them. Kevin McCarthy knows it's not. He's just painting it as it is. But ultimately, on a wider lens, they all look silly, and their whole ass is being shown, and everyone can see it, including their own voters.